can't think of a better guest to start off, my young channel, Policing the Police, or PTP. Rogue Nation is joining me. Rogue Nation is he's been on YouTube for years, has over 75,000 subscribers to his channel, puts out constant content, and my goal with this is to let people like me who enjoy watching these and aren't able themselves to go out and put themselves at risk to actually be the people that are out there fighting for our rights. I want the people on the internet who are watching you guys that are our heroes. I want your subscribers and other subscribers and people who enjoy First Amendment audits and civil rights activists to get to know you a little bit better, rather than just seeing your videos. So if you can give me a little bit about yourself, Rogue Nation. Where are you from? Where'd you grow up, and where do you live now?
Well, I was born down here in Florida. I'm a native, but I spent a good part of my life up by Chicago, around the Chicagoland area, Hammond, Indiana, Northwest Indiana, some of the south side suburbs like Chicago Ridge, Oak Lawn, Worth, Gary, Indiana. I spent, about half my life there, and I spent some time out west. I met my wife up in Indiana about, 21 years now ago.
Okay.
And we've been off and on down here in Florida pretty much ever since. This last time, I think we moved back down here about 10 years ago.
Okay.
And we've been back down here ever since.
What part of Florida do you reside in? That
Central. Yeah, Central Florida.
Okay.
Yeah, not right around the Ocala area.
That's awesome. And then, before you got into auditing, or now, do you have a full-time job? What was your occupation? What was your trade, Rogue Nation?
For the last 20 years, I've worked in the service industry, bartending, serving waitstaff, banquet servers, country club type work.
Okay.
I'm really hip on the banquet and one-off type events. So I do have a full-time job working for a company in the service industry, and I'm a shift leader with them.
Okay.
I've been with them about 16 years this summer. I've been with that one company. I don't work full-time for them anymore because I'm spending more time doing auditing.
Sure.
But I still work there every month. I put in a couple of days, and then I have a small side business where I'm like sort of like a labor ready, but for bartenders and waiters. So
Okay.
when people, when they have a birthday party or a wedding, or in Florida, especially South Florida, with the ritzy people, they have dinner parties and whatnot. And
Sure.
they'll pay money to have a personal chef come in for them and their friends one night, and they'll need a waiter or a bar staff or something like that. So we do all that kind of stuff.
Okay. No, that's awesome. And you talked about you're not working full time now because you're doing a lot of auditing. I think one thing that I hear a lot when I'm watching these videos, because I've watched thousands and thousands of them, is when you go places, people are like, I hear a lot of "get a job," what are you doing here? And I don't think that people realize how much time that somebody like yourself who has a successful channel spends on auditing. So can you give us an idea of, obviously this is a job, but how many hours a week do you think you spend on, making the content, editing, promoting your channel?
Well, if you ask my wife, it's too much.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a lot of time, and with this, it's not just going out and capturing the video and coming home and throwing it on your editing program, and then bam, you're done. There's public record requests to make.
Mm-hmm.
If there's charges, which I'm a firm believer of try not to get arrested.
Sure.
But if you do, there's charges you got to worry about. And then after that, there's lawsuits you have to worry about. So it's a very time consuming mission, and that's if you're only just doing like auditing. I mean,
Right.
now granted, some guys just go out and they just, capture videos and put out the videos, and, they don't pull public records and they don't sue nobody. And, you got guys like that out there as well. But for someone like me who, started for the change and am all about the change, then there's going to be some work that is going to go into it, and it's less money for me now than when I was working full time and doing my side business full time.
Okay.
It's less money, but I spend more time at home.
Yeah.
So there's a give and take there. You know what I mean? Like, I've never been a money guy.
Yeah.
I've never been one of the keeping up with the Joneses. I got to have the newest iPhone and the fanciest ride with the spinny rims. And I've never been one to be impressed by a man or a woman or anybody's material, things.
Yeah. And
So
honestly, I think that's what leads a lot of people to your channel, is because when we watch a Rogue Nation video and you go in, you're genuinely yourself. You're not putting on a show. You're in there. You're really wanting to make a change, and I can see that. And honestly, I feel like there must have been something that led you to feel this way, that you wanted to start doing this and fight for our civil rights for those that, maybe aren't brave enough to get out there and do it themselves, or worried about losing their job. So what really was there, one incident or one situation, maybe with an officer or a location or a department, a governmental official that you had that led you to begin this career?
Well, nothing personally. I was lucky in the fact that I got all of my rebellion and all that stuff out when I was younger. So, I did stupid stuff as a kid, and I ended up going to jail and stuff like that. So I got that out of me when I was early. So I hadn't been in trouble. I'd say when I started auditing, I think it'd been 28 years since I'd been last arrested. So
Okay.
it was because a lot of times people say, "Oh, you must have had something happen, and now you hate the cops." I'm like, dude, I haven't had nothing happen in like 30 years. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
that's a long time to be carrying a butthurt grudge to just
Right.
be like, oh, I'm gonna go record cops now. So it wasn't nothing like that. It was, it was being able to see that there's deception in the system, and wanting to help expose that. But at the same time, when I came across people like Jeff Gray and some of the other guys doing early stuff, Joel Chandler,
Mm-hmm.
I said, hey, this is a way that we can go out there and we can ask questions and we can get evidence of this stuff. Because as anybody knows, when you're really looking for the information, when you really got to have it, when it's detrimental to your life or your property
Yeah.
or anything of that nature, it's the government is always going to stonewall you. It's always going to be a day late and a dollar short. So I thought this is a good way to go out there, gather evidence. Now, one of the I guess deciding factors on that outlook was the Dozier School for Boys, which was a boys' prison down here where horrible things happened and nobody was
Okay.
ever prosecuted for it. And that weighs on my mind all the time. So
Is that a place that you done an audit on, that the Dozier?
it's been closed down, but I have been up there. I have videotaped the facility, what's left of it.
Okay.
The sheriff's office is now back on that facility property. I mean, even now being closed down, it's eerie. It's like a horror movie,
Yeah. No. I mean, I figured your passion came from somewhere, and when you talk about a Jeff Gray, for those who don't know, and Honor Your Oath is his name on YouTube. My opinion, another channel that's fantastic to check out. And I think that, tell me, Rogue Nation, in your opinion, is there a difference between Rogue Nation, Honor Your Oath, those guys that go in and like you said, they're going to go do the extra work. They're going to go get the records requests. They're going to follow up to make sure there's change. And then are there agitators in the community, the ones that are just looking to make money on YouTube and making the cost worse? Because, from a viewer, that's a huge fan of the auditing community. I feel that way. I feel that I sometimes feel embarrassed watching, certain First Amendment audits, and I feel like it really drags you guys down. And then from what you guys are doing to what some other folks are doing, I feel like you have to feel the same way as an auditor when you watch those videos.
Well, first off, I don't watch those videos because
you shouldn't.
Because like with anything, just like people say you vote with your wallet. On YouTube, you vote with your time.
Sure.
And if people want to see change, I've always said that if people want to see change, there'll be change.
Right.
But as long as the majority of people want entertained, then they'll be entertained.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of the guys that most people would consider maybe antagonistic and in it for the wrong reasons, while their subscriber base is twice what someone like mine or Jeff Gray's even would be. So it is what it is. I mean, change is hard, change is difficult. And again, for a lot of Americans, they don't even realize that change is even needed. It's like the alcoholic that doesn't think they're an alcoholic. They're not going to AA.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're not looking to stop drinking. There's no problem. Why would I stop?
Yeah, it hasn't affected them yet. And what I want to do is, I'm sure, like I said, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that are thinking about wanting to do the same thing as you do. Maybe begin small, start from a public sidewalk like some people do and record a business. Or what I love that you do is go into government buildings, especially the health departments. You've been doing quite a few of those lately that, it really there's a real story there. There's an impact. There could be some change done. But what if somebody is in it for the right reasons and wants to make some change, what tips do you have for potential future First Amendment auditors who want to, get out there and actually make some change and not just be in it for subscribers, which is nice to have and the YouTube thing, but to actually make some change? Can you give us some tips there, Rogue Nation?
I would just say spend a lot of time learning the law because it's something that you're going to use and something that you need to be well versed on, and even then it's never going to save you when you get the egomaniac cop. Like I just released a video this morning, guy showed up like literally 10 seconds I was in cuffs.
I saw that.
So I mean, and that's why I try to say don't push it to an arrest, because in the auditing game, it's a numbers game.
Mm-hmm.
And I could go to 10 different public buildings in a day and only have bad reactions out of 4 of them.
Right.
But with the arrest thing is sooner or later, you're going to run across that cop, that ego that is not going to listen, and he's going to arrest you. And so if you're out there and you're pushing for these arrests, because you think you'll get more money on the lawsuit, which isn't necessarily true.
Sure.
Or, then, you might have 2 or 3 charges stacked up, and then bam, you go out again and this guy pops you, you know what I mean? And all of a sudden now you're broke and you can't go out. And, if it's really about change, then try to avoid as many arrests as you possibly can, because you're not changing shit sitting at home broke from bail, lawyer fees. A lot of people think, oh, as soon as the DA sees the video, they'll drop the charges. Man, ain't no way, bro.
No, it's not how the system works.
No, that shit don't happen. They're not like, oh, as soon as you tell the DA you'll be out of jail and then you file a lawsuit next week. I'm like, no, you're putting out thousands of dollars at the moment of arrest, and you're waiting years to recoup that money. Literally years.
Yeah, I mean that's asking the government to admit they made a mistake, which I mean we all know that that's not going to happen. We know politicians, we know how things work, and that's something. I'm glad you cleared that up because that's a huge misconception. I think there's getting arrested is not winning. That you're not winning whatsoever. You're
playing right in
honestly,
their hand.
yeah, you doing you satisfy their ego, right? So you go there, you get embarrassed by the people that, I mean, the people that call the police feel like they won, so they know next time, hey, I just got to call these guys, I'll throw the guy in some cuffs, take him to jail. He's going to spend a few, whether we're wrong or right, it doesn't matter because the guy got arrested. He's got to pay for, like you said, an attorney. He's got to post bond. He's got to do all this. He's got to, if he's working, he's got to call his boss and say I got arrested for filming inside of here or whatever it may be. So I'm glad you brought that up because that's one thing that really upsets me that, I see comments and things are like, oh, come on, why didn't you just, take one for the team, whatever it may be. That's not the point of the whole deal, right?
Well, and plus it's because of a lack of knowledge of the law, because a detainment is the same as an arrest. The courts have said that a detainment is an arrest. It's just a duration, and so the whole idea behind getting arrested for a lot of these guys is they think that you're going to get, a much bigger settlement check, out of it, or a much bigger thing. And it could be true in some cases. If you've never been to jail, you could claim mental trauma and all this other stuff. But like for me, my first arrest audit, and I'd already been in jail a couple times as a younger guy.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, this isn't traumatizing to him at all. You know what I mean? He already knows the deal.
Right.
So it's an on an individual basis. And again, this is the thing that, and it really boggles my mind, is that we know we're fighting a corrupt system. We know the police are corrupt. We know the prosecutors are corrupt. We know the judges are corrupt. Why are we offering ourselves up to a corrupt system in the hopes that they will obey the law? Why would we do that? You know what I mean? Like I'm betting my freedom on the fact that you guys will follow the law.
Yeah. Well, I mean, or even
I might as well call myself stupid.
Or even know it. And even if they don't know it, that, there's qualified immunity and that's a separate topic. But, whether they know it or not, and they have that as their backup, there's really no reason why they can't put you in handcuffs and take you to jail and make you spend the night. But I want to have you set this video up for. So I pulled a video, one that from your channel that really, honestly, it really pissed me off watching it, from how this was handled from not only an employee standpoint, from the Santa Rosa County Health Department, but then the two police officers that came. The first police officer looked like she had two stripes. It looked like she was a corporal. She didn't know the trespassing law, the 3802 ID, and then a captain shows up, Captain Ferguson, which we'll get into here. But can you kind of set up the scene for us? Maybe the first 10, 15 minutes you're there, what was going on?
Yeah, I mean, Santa Rosa County Health Department in Milton, Florida, which is up in the Panhandle. It's the county right next door to Pensacola. And as usual, I go into the main lobbies, and I look at public information and stuff like that. But this area was so small that, I mean, they were right on me as soon as I walked into the door, pretty much. So I didn't get but a few steps into the lobby area before they started in with the you're not allowed to record, yada yada, and the whole dance as far as that goes. And then doesn't look like she has a body cam, guys, so won't be able to request the body cam footage, but we will get the 911 call or the call to the police to get them over here.
It's good to know that it's going to be Josh and yeah, maybe he didn't. Yeah, and I know
Hey man, what's going on?
Oh, you see it. Just out gathering some content for a story.
Okay.
I'm a journalist, so I've already told them numerous times. I've got the case law right here, Supreme Court. I'm allowed anywhere the public's allowed to be. So,
Okay, well this is an establishment and they want you trespass, so that's what we're gonna do. Do you got an ID on you?
no, I don't.
No? Okay. You said that I guess you were out with some of our officers this morning? Or you told one of the...
I just came from your police department.
Okay.
Yep.
But you haven't talked to an officer today, right?
I'm guessing he was an officer. Somebody behind the window.
Okay, that's gonna be records. What's your
Okay.
first name, sweetie?
I don't give out my name.
Okay, well, we're doing a trespass, so you have to give out your name, okay?
Jesuits versus State, Florida, says I don't have to give an ID for a trespassing warning.
9 on.
All right. I want to stop it there. Do you think, because every single video that I watch, not from you, from almost cops, I don't know if it's a fetish or if it's in training, but the ID thing, in no matter what state they're in or where they're, I feel like that's the only thing that they're told from day one in training, from police academy to when they go on the streets, is no matter who you come into contact with, you must get their ID. And if you don't, I feel like maybe the reason is, they're going to get reprimanded by their sergeant or their lieutenant or whoever it may be. Is that the case?
I've never had someone say they've been reprimanded about it, but I mean,
Okay.
it is definitely a motivating factor.
George, middle initial D is David, last
Also,
name
let me make
X,
something else clear to
and
you.
Mary, Edward, T. Thomas,
Inside this
T.
building
It's
It's private. These is people's medical issues.
This
You
is
cannot
private
film-
in there?
Yeah, you cannot. This is a public building, but what they do inside here, you can't film that inside there, okay? Outside, off of this property, you can film all you want.
Also, I can't even come on the property to film.
Don't come on this property to film inside that and to film the health department, okay?
Okay, that's
All right.
against the law?
Yes, sir.
Oh, wow. What law is that?
Look it up.
Look it up. All right. All right, great. Great.
All right, so basically the next step I'm taking is I'm waiting for my dispatch to get my return on you. As long as you have no warrants, I'll advise you that they do want you trespassed. If you come back on the property, you will go to jail. Do you understand that?
Absolutely. Yeah, so,
So once that return gets back from dispatch, you're good to go.
okay, so I just want to clarify everything that's happened here today. They called the police on me to trespass me.
Yes.
Okay, for no law being broken, they just wanted me out, right? I didn't break any law.
You can't film inside.
Well, I understand that, but I'm saying, is there any law that I've broken? That you can quote the statute number.
If they want you trespassed,
They can
have
just
the
say
right-
it.
They have the right to trespass you.
Okay, so that's what happened. They
Did you talk
trespassed
to
me.
anybody inside?
Yeah, I
Who
talked
did you
to.
talk to?
All right, they didn't give me their name.
About seven people.
Yeah, there's a couple people in there. So,
What
okay,
did they tell you inside?
they said that I'm not allowed to film.
Okay, exactly.
You know how many times I hear that? I've been to every health department in this state. This one in Okaloosa is the only 2 health departments in the state I haven't been in. And guess what? I film in all of them.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no warrants for me. I do this every
Show
day.
him trespassed on this date and time. Pull me a case number, please. All right, sir. Like I said, if you come back onto the property, that includes the parking lot, you will go to jail because you are trespassed. Other than that, you're free to leave, okay?
Okay,
All right,
perfect.
thank you, sir.
Thank
Take it
you.
easy.
Yep.
All right, we'll stop it there. I don't want to dox you too much, but what was the reason I brought this video up, Captain? So to be a captain in a police department, it takes years and years and years of service and training, and I can't imagine all the different situations they've been in. This was really disappointing to me that a captain of a police department wouldn't understand basic trespass rights, the ID laws, and then I don't think he was even standing up for his corporal there. I think he just didn't know. Is that the feeling that you got, or maybe you found out with litigation or whatever this ended up being?
No, I mean, I haven't revisited this facility. It's kind of been on the back burner because of the stuff that happened in Walton County, and then
Sure.
I was coming up on my timetables for the Alabama lawsuits. I had to get those filed, so this one's definitely going to be a lawsuit, and we'll go through with that, and we'll definitely go and do some revisiting to this area, but I just haven't had time to as of yet. But
What were your what were you charged with in that situation? Just trespassing?
yeah, I wasn't actually charged
You
with
weren't.
anything. No,
Okay.
no, I got out of there without charges.
But they
Um,
threatened you with, they gave you a trespass warning, right?
right. They
Okay.
gave me a trespass
Trespass you
warning, and
from public
yep,
property without breaking the law. Okay.
yep.
Um,
So
yeah. So no, we're looking forward to seeing that follow up video, because that police department clearly needs a lot of training and a lot of work. And I do want to say, that's just a small piece of your work, and I really urge any First Amendment audit viewer, fan, to check out Rogue Nation. He does it right. He understands the law. He does the follow up. He's going to do public records requests, and he's going to be respectful, and he's not going to take these arrests just to get some views. And I want to say thank you for what you're doing out there for us that maybe don't have the balls to do it, and are worried about whatever it may be, going to jail for a night or losing their job. So people like you are, that's why I wanted to chat with you and make sure that you understood that people appreciate what you're doing out there for us. And I want to leave you with one question: is if there's one other person in your field, an auditor, civil rights activist, that you think would be worth me talking to, who would that be?
I mean, I know a slew of them.
Give me your top two, and then I'm going to reach out to them and see if they'll join me.
I mean, my two closest guys are James Madison and Wrights Crispy.
Yep.
Those are my two standby guys. They're with me all the time. They exhibit the same level of professionalism, and they're my boys, so I'm going to mention them obviously. But
yeah,
I mean, Jeff Gray is a good example to use.
And James Madison Audits is his name, and right, is that correct on his YouTube? Because James is a former police officer,
Yes.
who he does have a story of why he started, because of the issue that happened in his front yard.
Yep.
With the officers. And Wrights Crispy, he's a veteran who both these guys are out of Florida. And then Wrights Crispy, I guess if I would say what his thing is kind of speaking other languages and getting in officers' heads.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, no,
Yeah,
that's tell me a little bit. We just talked about James. What about Wrights Crispy? How do you know him? Is it from just the auditing community?
Yeah, just the auditing community. He reached out to me when I had started, and he wanted to come out and do some stuff with us. So it was funny because the first time I met him, me and James Madison was up in Gainesville, and I was doing this little side thing for one of my other channels where I held a sign and I asked people to tell me what $1 was. And if you told me what $1 was, you got $1.
Right.
And then so I stood out there, and of course it's a measured weight of silver. And if they did it, I'd give you a silver $1, which is worth like $20.
Sure.
So people saw the sign, and $1, they're not worried. I don't need $1, and a couple people that did answer, not very good, but we had fun doing that. And then we went and we did an audit of the University of Florida Police Department there, and it turned out really good. We had a good time, and we've pretty much been rolling together ever since. I mean, if I'm not with one, I'm with the other, or if I'm not, I'm usually by myself. And then sometimes we all get together, like we went up to Atlanta together and had a great time. And
yeah, no, watching you guys, the three of you are all all knowledgeable, respectful, and you guys, I think the Florida auditing crew, as kind of as a whole that you hang around with are always, if people are really looking for an education and looking for people that are trying to make a difference, Rogue Nation, James Madison, Wrights Crispy, Honor Your Oath. Those are 4 great channels to check out. And before I leave you, is there any, is there anything you want to shout out at, as far as, anything, groups or charities or anything that you're interested in, that, that you have, any type of cause that you want to talk about, personally?
Well, I started a new channel, 360 Audits. It's got my 360 camera work there. I
Okay.
think people will enjoy that because they get to move the camera wherever they want. So they could see the whole interaction. So I think that's going to be a good thing, benefit to a lot of people. And then we're working to rehab our Activism News Network. We want to kind of make that the premier spot for fighting for civil rights. So we're going to start up a forum on there with access to legal forums for people. Like, for example, if you go to, I think it's uslegalforms.com, they cost you, the cheapest you can get is $8 a month to get forms off their site. And you can do the same thing on our site and our forum, and they're only paying $3.99 a month, so you save $4 a month. They're getting all our content, they're getting forums. I have research sites that I go to, again, that are pay sites.
Sure.
That I'll be bringing a lot of the content or content that people specifically request over to them as part, again, of the value of the site to them. But yeah, I mean, we got a lot of big things we're hoping to get accomplished in 2022. We're really hoping this is the year to really break out more mainstream.
Yeah, no, I think you guys are doing a great job, and you're well on track to do so. And maybe next time that I talk to you, we can have, James and Wrights Crispy on. We can have a good old time. But in the meantime, I can't thank you enough for joining. I'm a young channel. I'm trying to get, like I said, the good activists, those that are fighting for our rights and risking their own freedom, trying to get to know those people and thank them, and make sure that when someone like me who's watching a video from the comfort of my sometimes my job, fine, but but at home, that we appreciate what you do, and it really means a lot to us. And it's not all just, like you said, for views, and you guys are kicking ass out there. And I really, really appreciate you jumping on my channel and helping. Hopefully this channel will grow, and we'll get to where people are realizing what you guys do and what you're fighting for. So thanks again, George and Rogue Nation. Keep up the great work, and we'll chat with you soon.
Okay. All right, man. Thanks a lot.